Hello, welcome to our UCE math practice, and today we are dealing with factorization. And to be specific, we are to look at numbers that involve a difference of two squares. Okay, a difference of two squares. Feel free to pause and try the questions before you look at the answers. Here we go. Our question number 1, which says factorize. The question says factorize this completely, hence evaluate this. Okay, and this statement here, this identity, the identity that we get from this, when we say a number squared minus another number squared, can be factorized as by writing two brackets. Okay, two brackets, two different signs, and the signs are plus and minus. Feel free to start with any. You can start with minus and end with plus, but the two signs must be different. Okay, and then the first number is A, the second number is B. The first number is A, the second number is B. Okay, this identity can only be used when we have a number squared, we have a subtraction sign, and what are we subtracting? Another number squared. And that's why we call it a difference of two squares. Okay, we use it only when we have a number squared, take away another number squared. So by writing down this, we have already finished the first part, which says factorize this completely. We have factorized it, and then we can move to the hence part. So with the hence part, we need to evaluate 3.14 squared minus 0.14 squared. So still you see that we have a number squared, a minus sign, and another number squared. So how do we evaluate this? Now we shall simply use this. So that means my first number 3.14 plus the second number 0.14 times the first number 3.14 minus the second number 0.114. Okay, and now we can add this. When we add these two, we get 3.28. The sign in between is a multiplication sign, two brackets. The sign in between is a multiplication sign. When you subtract these two numbers, we get a 3. And so when we multiply, our final answer is 9.884. Okay, let's move to our next question. Our next question also says factorize this completely. Okay, and whenever we are factorizing, okay, the way we talk of factors. Okay, if we talk of factors of a number, say for example, if I want factors of 6, I know that the easiest way for me to get factors of 6, I'll need to do have 1 times 6, 2 times 3, and these are all factors of 6. So two numbers that we can multiply and give us a number are what we call the factors of that given number. So now in this case, let's go back to our question. When we are factorizing an expression like this, the first thing to think about is the common numbers. Okay, like we have 27 and we have 3x squared. Do we have a common factor of 27 and 3? Yes, you notice that 27 is divisible by 3, that we get a 9. So that means my first step is going to be 3, then I'll open brackets, 3 is common, then I'll write this as 9. Okay, because I know 3 times 9 gives me a 27 minus x squared. Okay, so the first factor is for this expression is a 3, but we are supposed to factorize completely. So I continue and I focus on these two numbers. I see a 9, I have a minus sign, excuse me, and this is squared. Now I know that 9 is a square number. I can write this as 3 squared, okay, minus x squared, okay. And then when I do that, clearly I can see that now in the brackets here, I have a difference of 2 squares, which I know I can factorize by writing 2 brackets, writing 2 different signs. The first number is a 3, the last number is x. The first number is a 3, the last number is x. And so this, and this are the factors of this given expression, okay. So it's like we have written down this expression in terms of its 3 factors. Our next question, we are supposed to factorize this completely, okay. And so see, we start by looking at the numbers. This term has an 8 and this term has an 18, okay. And the common factor for these 2 numbers is a 2. So I can factorize out a 2 because it is common, and inside I will now write 4a squared. 2 times 4 gives me back the 8, minus 9b squared. 2 times 9 gives me back the 18. So 2 is common, that's why we have it outside here. Now after that common factor, the first one, which is a 2, I look at what I have in the brackets, okay. And I see in the brackets I have 4a squared, I have a minus sign, I have 9b squared. And when I look at the 2 numbers now, this is a square number, this is also a square number. So that makes me to think about writing my next step as 2 into 2 squared a squared minus 3 squared b squared. All right. And now when I look at this, remember when I have 2 squared a squared, this is the same as saying 2a squared, okay. The sign in between is multiplication. If I open brackets, I'll square the 2, I also square the a. Also 3 squared b squared can be written as 3b brackets squared. So I can come back here and I write 2. I want to use this, so that now I'll write this as 2a squared minus 3b squared, okay. And now when I see this, I can comfortably apply the ident of a difference of 2 squares to factorize the bracket, and my answer will be 2. Now I can write my 2 brackets, right? 2 different signs, feel free to start with any minus and a plus. My first number is 2a, my last term is 3b. My first term is 2a, my last term is 3b, and I have factorized that expression completely. So that is our final answer. Good. Question 4. Factorize x cubed minus 9xy completely. All right. And whenever we are factorizing, we just have 2 parts. We have x cubed and x to power 1. So what is common to the 2 parts? The common term is x to power 1. So I write it down. I open brackets. Now that I have x to power 1, here I'll write x to power 2. So that when I say x times x to power 2, I go back to x to power 3. Okay, this x is to power 1. When you multiply numbers with the same base, we add the powers. All right. Then minus, since I put brackets here, then here I write 9y squared. Fine. Now my first factor is x, and now when I look at the brackets, I have a square number, I have a minus sign. I know that 9 is a square number. I have y squared. So this makes me to write this as x into x squared minus 3y squared. No. Before I move to that, let me just write my 9 as 2 squared and y squared, okay? Then I can rewrite this as x into x squared minus, now instead of writing it like this, I want to put this in brackets. and I put the square just outside here, and clearly now I can see a difference of two squares, which I can factorize by having two brackets, two different signs. The first number is x, the last number is 3y. First number is x, the last number is 3y, and we have factorized that completely. Question 5, say we need to factorize this. The question simply says factorize this, and when I look at it, I see I have the first bracket is squared, I have a minus sign, I have my last bracket also squared, and so now this makes me to think of a difference of two squares, whereby if this is my a, whatever I have in brackets is the a and this is the b. Remember, the identity is a squared minus b squared is equal to two different brackets, a plus b, a minus b. Okay, so I want to apply this identity to factorize this. Okay, the moment I notice that I have a number squared minus a number squared, I can apply this difference of two squares. So I write this as my a now is x plus 4 plus my b is x minus 3. Are you seeing that? I have added this. Then in the second bracket I have x plus 4 minus, but now because of the minus sign and I have b with more than one term, then it is better to have this bracket there. Okay, x minus 3. You notice when I was looking at, when I was using a plus, I did not put their bracket there. There isn't much that the brackets can change, the signs will stay. But with the minus sign, the sign the sign on the terms for b will change. That's why I have maintained the brackets here. Okay, so when we simplify the first part, I can put like terms together. I can see this, so that it gives me 2x. I can see this 4 take away 3, so that gives me minus 1. All right, whereas for this second part, still I want to write x plus 4, then this and this, the x turns into minus, whereas the 3 which has been minus turns into positive. You need to be a little bit slow there. Okay, you see how the signs are changing. And now with that, I can now put like terms together. This and this will disappear. X take away x turns into 0, and when I add these two, they give me a 7. So I can write my final answer as 7 into 2x minus a 1. And so that means that the factors for this statement here, this expression here, are 7 and 2x minus 1. All right, please feel free, if you have some time. I know someone is thinking of expanding this. Okay, feel free also to expand. This would mean multiply this bracket 2 times, also multiply this bracket 2 times. But when you are opening brackets, pay attention to this minus sign. Okay, so that you'll be able to get an answer which is okay, which is like the one that I have here. Good. Let's go to the next question. Question 6 here, which says given x squared minus y squared is equal to this, and x minus y is equal to a 9. We are supposed to find the values of x and y. So I have two equations. I'm supposed to work out the values for the unknowns. Okay, the x here is squared, the x here is to power 1. The y here is squared, the y here is to power 1. But I know that since I have a number squared minus another number squared, then I can apply the identity of a difference of two squares. I can write this as x minus y times x plus y. All right, x minus y times x plus y. I have only factorize this part. This now should give me my 130 and 35. Okay, now, but in the same question, I'm told that when I subtract x take away y, when I do x take away y, sorry, I'm supposed to get a 9. So that means where I have x minus y, I can put there a 9 into x plus y, which is equal to 135. Now, someone who is smart, instead of opening brackets here, I'll test and see if this number is divisible by 9. Okay, so that if I divide by 9, I also divide on this side by 9. Okay, and if we divide, we can get that x plus y is equal to a 15. You see how I have created another equation? Okay, another equation. And then in the question I was given that when I do x minus y, I'm supposed to get a 9. And now we have simultaneous equations that we can solve. My y here is positive 1. My y here is minus 1y. So I can simply add the 2 to eliminate the y. So when I add, I get 2x. When I add this, y turns into a 0. This will give me 15 plus this gives me what? 24. Divide by 2, divide by 2, right? Our x is equal to a 12, okay? That's the value of x. And now I need to get the value of y. I can pick this equation where I have a plus sign. I do not like negative, the negative sign. So I'll say 12 plus y should give me 15. So which number will give me 15 when I add it 12? That number has to be a 3. So my y is equal to 3. When you take 12 to this side, 15 minus 12 gives us a 3. Okay, question 7. Question 7, I've put it right here. This is supposed to be a squared plus b squared minus 4 plus 2ab. Now, a question like this, you can only answer a question like this with experience, okay? If you have not yet practiced by answering a number of questions, you can't answer a question like this. But with experience, from this statement, if we rearrange it, okay, we can rearrange this and we write a squared plus 2ab plus b squared minus a 4, okay? Then by rearranging, we see something, an identity in this first part here, okay? This first part here, that identity, this first part simply represents an identity, a plus b brackets squared. If I expand this, I'll get this, right? Then I have minus a 4, okay? And now because I'm factorizing and I see that the first term is squared, I have a minus, the other term here is a square number, then it makes me think of writing this step here, and instead of saying 4, I write this as 2 squared, okay? Now I think we know where we are heading, that we shall write 2 brackets, okay? 2 different signs. The first term is a plus b, the last term is a 2. The first term is a plus b, the last term is a 2. And now that is, those are the factors. But as I said, this can only be answered when you have practiced, okay? So make sure you answer as many questions as you can. And our last question today is question 8, which says factorize this completely, all right? And we have now bigger powers, x to the power 4, y to the power 4. Let's see. When we start by looking at the numbers, we can see that 48 is divisible by a 3. So 3 is common. We can write it out, and we can have x to the power 4 minus 16 y to the power 4. Okay, 3 times 16 gives us 48. Now, looking at x to the power 4, we have a minus sign. We have a 16, which is a square number, y to the power 4. Now, since this is a 4, we can write this as x to the power 2, and again to power 2. Do we see that? So that when we multiply this, we go back to a 4, then minus, instead of saying 16, I want to write it as 4 to power 2, okay, and then y to power 2, but again the y has to be to power 2 again, so that when we do 2 times 2, we go back to y to power 4. Okay, and I guess now you can tell where we are heading, that we're going to say this is equal to 3. Let me introduce these square brackets so that I only use the round brackets inside, minus. Now I want to also write this as 4y squared, and then I just put 1 square outside here. Okay, so 4 squared and then y squared squared. And now that I have a minus sign here, I want to factorize this as a difference of 2 squares, okay, whereby I have 2 different signs. Okay, the first term is x squared, the last term is 4y squared. The first term is x squared, the last term is 4y squared. All right, okay, this is squared here. And now after that, we have this. We do not need to worry about this. This is x squared plus 4y squared. We do not have a minus sign, please, so we can't call it a difference. But when I look at this, I see I have x squared, I have a minus sign, and I see that 4 is a square number. Okay, I can write 4 as 2 squared. See that? And y squared. And when I do that, that means now I'll write 3 into x squared plus 4y squared. Now this is a difference of 2 squares, where I will introduce 2 brackets with 2 different signs. The first term is x, the last term is 2y. Okay, remember we said that 2 squared y squared can be written as just one number, 2y squared. That's why I'm saying the last term is 2y, the first term is x, the last term is 2y. And now this is our final answer. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 factors. Okay, x to the power 4. We are getting 4 factors there. Okay, thank you. That's where we are ending today. Please do not forget to practice, perfect, and then perform.